Hi guys, I just wanted to show you my Wine Holborn Filofax. It's an A5, it came out, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, and it's a beautiful binder in itself, but I was just a bit bored with it and I wanted to make it a bit more interesting and exciting. I'm planning to use this one to take notes about the history books I read, about sort of like Tudor and Elizabethan history and maybe other periods of history. And so I wanted to make it look like a historical book, although not necessarily like a history book in itself. So I got inspiration from old sort of books such as this one. Not from this one itself, but just from the general idea. So many of these old books have lines on the spine, horizontal lines, and then they often have patterns on the front. This one doesn't have anything on the back. So I sort of designed one myself. I did have a look online to see if there were any that I could use as inspiration, but in the end I sort of just chose my own design. I could have done it differently. Now I think back, I could have just done small corner diagonal lines, or maybe sort of not such a pointed triangle, pointed sort of V, but I like it. I like the lines on the spine. In theory, I could write Kate's History Filofax on there, or something, like you have the name of the book written on the spine of old books. And I used gold paint, so I think it was gold acrylic, and I used masking tape. So I carefully masked off the areas and very carefully painted with a paintbrush. And I painted each line, let it dry, painted a second or a third coat, and built it up and built it up and built it up until I was happy with it. And it took me an evening. It didn't take me very long, a few hours, and I'm very happy with it. And it's not perfect, because it's not done by a machine, it's done by a person, and I'm not an expert painter or anything. When you hold it up to the light, you can see where it's sort of gone over the lines a bit and things, but I like it. And also it's supposed to look a bit worn, like this book here, like lots of books in libraries and collections and things. The writing gets a bit worn, the lines get a bit worn, and that just shows that it's been used and loved. So it's kind of a good thing if the paint starts peeling off or something. It means that it shows its character and that it's been used. So there you go. I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you were absolutely 100% sure that you wanted to do it, and that you would be able to do it to a high enough standard, high enough quality, that you would be not upset with your end result, because it's quite hard to fix mistakes when you're using permanent paint, and especially something that's as expensive as an A5 leather Filofax. But if you're sure that you will do it to a high enough standard, and that you will love it, and that you will use it, that's fantastic. Go ahead. Be very careful. Get everything ready first. Do a design, a sketch, to know that you are going to be able to do it, because if you start something, it's quite hard to suddenly stop in the middle because you realise that you haven't got the right materials, because you may need to finish it in one go. And do remember that if you do anything like this, you are very unlikely to be able to sell it afterwards. If you were to sell it to somebody who loves this design, who wants one like this, then fantastic. But if I wanted to sell this as a normal A5 Wine Holborn Filofax, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't even be able to remove the paint without showing some sort of marks on it. So there's something to consider if that's the sort of thing that you like to do. It's still the same on the inside. There's no decorations on the back, and if I remove the clasp, you can see that the pattern goes underneath the clasp as well. So there's some ideas for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.